What's going on, everybody? So today I want to talk about how to push higher grade waves, how to speed farm higher grade waves, how to get stronger in general. This is something that a lot of people kind of get stuck on. There's a lot of videos out there talking about the 1 to 70 process. I made a video about the day one guide, sort of after you get that level 1 to 70 process, which to be honest is like a minuscule part of the game, right? That's like less than like 1% of your total playtime throughout the season most often. And yet that's what most of the people focus on. But a lot of people don't know what to do after that. Okay, I got my set. How do I even get stronger? How do I get to these higher grades? How do I speed farm 110s, 120s, 130s maybe? And that's what we're talking about today. So stay tuned. There's going to be timestamps in the description down below so you guys can check out which part I want to talk about. But let's dive right into it, starting off with your farming build. Now, this is something that I've talked about previously, but there's a lot of people that go into this game and they want to play a specific build. I don't know, let's say, like a Sea of Dreams Corpse Explosion, or some sort of Wave of Light build, or some sort of UE multi-shot build, or whatever it is, right? And not every one of those builds is going to be a build that you're going to be using for speed farming. There are multiple different kinds of builds. Some of them are going to be encouraged for group play. Some of them are going to be encouraging for solo pushing. Some of them are going to be bounty builds where they don't have the damage capability to push greater of speed farming, but they're way faster. And that's what you have to determine. I would like to make a video coming up here on the top 5 best farming builds this season. But to give you an example on what I'm doing, I'm running 2 specific builds right now. That is going to be the Tal Rasha Wizard build and the God DH. Both of them kind of fulfill 2 different categories, okay? Now, with your farming build, you're looking for speed farming a Greater Rift in around 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Any longer, and it's generally not going to be, you could say, effective, kind of time effective. Tal Rasha Wizard build is actually the exception because it has so much damage multiplying that you can actually farm way higher to make up for the speed loss. But you're looking for 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 30 seconds, and you're looking to just run through the highest rift you can. Now, after you've gotten your farming build kind of set up, which again, God DH, if I were to recommend one build for a lot of people, this is going to be the easiest and most accessible one. You're going to want to reroll the stats. And what do I mean by this? Well, you're going to head over to the artisan here, and I'll move myself over to the middle here. And you're going to be re-rolling your stats. Min-max your stats. I see so many people sitting here with the potential of getting higher crit damage. And heck, I've even done it myself. But make sure you have sockets on your rings. Make sure you have sockets on your amulets. Okay, this is all very, very important. And then let's say you have a roll like this. For your rings, you're going to want crit rate, crit damage. For your amulets, you want crit rate, crit damage most of the time. But let's say you have a roll like this, right? 4.5% crit chance. Well, I could actually reroll this and boom, look at that. 5.5% crit chance, already an upgrade. Watch my damage number. Boom, I've already gotten 40k more damage, which doesn't seem like a lot, right? Like 10% was about like 220k, which means I probably got like a 1 to 1.5% damage increase. That's big. That's big. If I do that on every single piece here, let's say I were to go through and do that on every piece. I have like, what's that? 4, 7, 10, 13 pieces. And boom, I've instantly increased my damage by, maybe like 20, 30%. That's big. That's huge. But more importantly, focusing on specific pieces. For example, your gloves, crit rate, crit damage, these are big ones. Getting basically your armor pieces, like your chest, your belt, your boots, your pants, all these getting the proper resistances. And then if you have, for example, a unique class skill, like on the pants, making sure you get the damage increasing for that specific class skill, whatever build you're running. Making sure you have the damage, the dex, whatever your main stat is, the damage on your main weapons. Re-roll your stats. Make sure that your stats are min-max. There really isn't any reason not to do this. And the reason I say this is like, let's just look at my gloves here. I need Death Spreads, Forgotten Souls, Arcane Dust, and Veiled Crystals, which to be honest, I've been re-rolling a ton, but boom, I just got another, 5, 6, 7k damage increase because I just re-rolled that and I got a better stat. Now it's important to look at the stats. Like let's say this is a 47%er and I'm looking for 50%. Yeah, I could min-max it, but it might take too long for me to even be worthwhile trying to re-roll that to a 50%er. So just keep that in mind. But there's a lot of improvement a lot of people can make just from re-rolling a lot of the stats. So looking for some min-maxing on your re-rolling of stats can help you improve a lot. The third thing is Augment, guys. Augment. the best way to augment is using Petrified Screams and running Echoing Nightmare. Echoing Nightmare can be a little bit complicated. I'll probably upload a video on my experience with it. I've done it a lot, but it's always nerve-wracking, especially if you're playing on hardcore, because you can't, actually leave realistically at an easy pace if you're playing on hardcore. But running in, opening the Echoing Nightmare, and then just using your Petrified Screams to getting these Whisper of Atonements. And these can be max level of 125. And then way you augment is heading over to the Canice Cube, going to recipe 9 here. Oops. Let's just head over to recipe 9. It's recipe 10. My bad. And you're going to drop in an ancient item, and you're going to put in your Whisper of Atonement, and then 3 of the following gems. Or 1 of the following gems, rather. Amethyst, Emerald, Ruby, or Topaz. Keep in mind, Ruby's going to give you strength. Emerald's going to give you dexterity. Topaz is going to give you intelligence. So depending on what you put in, and then Amethyst is going to give you vitality. Depending on what you put in here, you're going to get a specific stat, okay? And that means that you want to put in the specific stat that your class uses, right? Don't make the mistake of putting in rubies when you are a demon hunter. That's going to give you strength. That's going to basically be almost useless. But you can see here, I actually did this on the bracers I have here. I get 625 dexterity from a Caldescent's Despair rank 125, which is the augment, basically, right? People say augment, but it is labeled the Caldescent's Despair because that's the recipe name. So again, that's augmenting. You're gonna get a lot of main stat. And this especially is worthwhile once you take off your Guardian set, right? Because if I take off my Guardian set, imagine I have like, I don't know, 1200 dexterity here from these 2 pieces, because that's probably what I'll end up having. So all my dexterity will be 9600, right? That means if I augment every one of these pieces, let's say I have augments on every piece, that's 13 pieces times, again, around 600. That's gonna be a massive, let's say, what is that, like 8,000 extra main stat, which is basically like an 80% extra dexterity main stat. That's huge, right? That's huge. So definitely be sure to run your augments, okay? That's a huge way. Now, the main bottleneck for most people is going to be your gems, getting the proper amount of gems, which the best way to do that is getting puzzle rings, making sure that you have the Leorc's crown in your follower, things like that. So, or broken crown rather. So that's gonna be a few ways to get stronger. And then the last one, guys, this is gonna come out a shocker, okay? This is gonna come out a big shocker. Grind. Wow, grind. Who would have expected that one, right? Head into your Greater Rifts and just grind it out, guys. You're gonna need to level up your gems. You're gonna need to, get some extra Paragon levels, all of which is just something that you have to do, right? To get stronger, that's just stuff that you have to do. It is just the nature of the game. There really isn't any trick at the end of the day to grinding. You just need to do it, right? You just need to head into those Greater Rifts and find one that you can be at 2 minutes, 30 seconds, and then continuously run that over and over and over again. Now, again, you want to do those other things that I mentioned previously, except for augmenting. That does take quite some time, but you're going to want to do those other things before you start like heavy grind, or I guess at the same time while you're heavy grinding, because again, you could end up in a situation where you're pushing a much higher Greater Rifts than you previously thought were possible, which could be super, super useful, right? So you want to get as high as you possibly can on your stats so that you can grind higher Greater Rifts. That's the whole point, right? The whole point is to grind higher Greater Rifts. So the more you can push early on, the better, because obviously you're going to get more value in the time spent grinding, which is obviously the whole point. That's the whole point of this whole thing, is to grind more efficiently. That's the whole point of Diablo 3. Grind your Greater Rifts, grind more efficiently, right? So that's gonna pretty much wrap it up for me, guys. And I'll finish off this Greater Rift because I guess you could say the other tips would include, leveling up your legendary gems, which is just grinding, right? Getting and making sure you have the resources to run all the upgraded items, grinding for ancients, all these things, grinding for primals eventually, all these things are going to be super, super important for you to do. And again, it all falls under this category of just play the game, right? The other stuff, yes, it's specific things that some people don't even do, but in this case, getting ancients, all that stuff, there's not really a big trick to it. It's just grinding Greater Rifts at 230. So let's see what we get here, or let's finish this up and see what time we actually ended up getting. I actually don't remember. I haven't farmed this for a little while because I did a lot of improvements on my character. But let's just wrap this up. Come on. Kill some more monsters here. With speed pylon. Love to pick that one up, eh? And where are we going to end up at? I think it's like 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Yep, we did it in 2 minutes and 20 seconds. So aim for something around that time, guys, and you'll be totally fine. Totally fine. Hopefully that helped, guys. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to like the video, sub to the channel. See you all.